The phenomenon of witchcraft has been allowed to grow for millennia. It has been present in almost every part of the world, in Europe, in Asia, in South America, and including here in Africa. The belief in witchcraft has revealed itself in different ideas, perceptions, and even conclusions. But today, I would like us to talk on the face of this belief. And this is the violence that follows after believing in the existence of witchcraft. But what is witchcraft? We will not have a definitive definition, but from this talk, we are going to see the face of witchcraft and the belief in our context as a country. I grew up as any Malawian child in a society that enforces the belief in witchcraft. And this was coming through the stories from my parents, from my uncles, aunts, and even siblings. However, I kept asking, especially my mother, from all these stories you keep telling us, where is the evidence that witchcraft is real? Although she couldn't provide satisfying responses to these questions, this created a window of doubt inside my mind. So I grew up to become a person who was concerned whenever I hear anything to do with violence that is emanating from the belief in witchcraft. I spent years in this apathetic state until something happened in January 2016. In this month and year, 4 warning people were brutally killed in Neno district, southern Malawi, near the border with Mozambique. A young family member, 17-year-old child, died from lightning. And that family, including the whole community, summoned these 4 elderly people to answer to that death because they believed that they were the ones who set the lightning to kill that child. They were called at a certain place inside the village with community members armed with all sorts of tools, sticks, stones, and even paper knives. They kept asking these 4 runners, and they kept denying that they had nothing to do with the death of that child. But the community never listened. They kept beating these 4 runners until they died. The images of that event shocked almost everyone in the country. There were all sorts of reactions. Some people believed that indeed they would have been the witches behind that death. Some people were apathetic, and some people had no reaction at all. But something happened within me soon after seeing what had happened in the Neno district. I went to a friend who was actively involved in the fight against witchcraft-based violence. I told him about that story, and I offered myself as a volunteer to do whatever I could to make sure that we end this kind of violence in our society. I started using my writing talent, talking in different platforms, raising awareness that if this is how we are going to build our society, that sooner or later we are going to destroy it. That's how I got myself into a fight that I never thought I would be part of. And while inside that journey, a similar thing happened in Mwanje district, southern Malawi, near the border with Mozambique as well. A young family member died mysteriously, and the family, including the community, accused the two grannies from that family to be behind that death. They gathered up, took all sorts of weapons, attempting to kill these two old grannies. Fortunately, the police were alerted in good time, and they rushed to the scene. They saved the two, took them to the police station for 2 to 3 weeks before they brought them back to the community. One of the police officers that was involved in this salvation mission called me, knowing that I am one of the people who advocates against witchcraft-based violence. After listening to the story, I tried to organize the resources that I could, and even contacted some friends in the United Kingdom. They sent the little that they could, and I gathered all that, went to Mwanje to help these two runners. I sat between them, asking them their experience and how they are faring after what had happened to them. I could see the trauma in their faces. Some people was telling me that they had given up on life, looking at the discrimination that they were facing while living in that community. When I was coming back, I heard 2 boys talking. One of them was saying he had gone to see his fellow witches in a pain. And another one responded that, yeah, I think he is also a witch. I heard them, and we learned about it together with the police that I had got together with. But as I was going, I kept thinking the kind of discrimination these two grannies are facing in that community. The 2 examples that I have given today are just a tip of the iceberg. What is happening in this country each and every day is more than what has been said today. If we look around, especially in our local media, frequently we see stories of witchcraft-based violence, families fighting, property destroyed, and everything about these things that we hear do not happen in isolation. It is a face of the numbers. In April 2022, Afrobarometer released their survey results, which say that over 74% of Malawians believe in the existence of witchcraft. That is translated to around 15 million people. That's a lot. And the survey results went on to say that those who believe in witchcraft, including people living in urban areas and in rural areas as well. Even those who are educated believe in witchcraft as much as those who are not educated. I am saying all this to give you a picture of how deeply rooted the belief is. No wonder this discourse found itself in the policy side as well. Recently, the Malawi Law Commission proposed to the change of the witchcraft law. The law that we currently have was enacted in 1911 by the British colonial government. It criminalizes the belief in witchcraft. And anyone who accuses another of being a witch or wizard faces the law. But the Law Commission argued that if the laws change to recognize the existence of witchcraft, then we are going to do away with the violence that we have been seeing over the years. I remember arguing against this proposal. Because let's face it, if a certain belief is leading in violence or victimization of other people, it is only normal to have that belief removed from that society and not recognized. And due to that, I took a personal initiative moving around in different media houses, arguing that we do not have to change the existing law. In fact, we have to maintain it and add more relevant things that have come out after it was enacted in 1911. It was a hot debate, and I recognize that, looking at how deeply rooted the belief is. But as we move on, I would like to leave you with a question. From all the violence that we have seen due to the belief in the existence of witchcraft, is this the country or the society that we want? It's not an easy job. I simply found myself inside it because of the empathy that I had of the victims that had no opportunity to prove themselves. I have gone through insults and sometimes even threats, but that is the kind of thing that I expected when I was putting myself inside this job. But that question should still linger inside us. Is this the country that we want? I have said the belief in witchcraft destroyed families, communities, and even this nation. But as we are facing forward, I feel it has to come to a time when we have to make some tough decisions. If certain beliefs are dragging us backwards, we have to let go of them. When that question came into my mind, of the kind of society that I would like to have. I keep asking it to everyone I come across. When I saw that violence, I responded by saying that this is not the kind of Malawi that I want for myself and even for my children. Therefore, I leave you with that very same question on this platform. When you look around, when you see the reports of the violence that is happening, is this the country that we want? I answered no to that question, and I don't know what your answer is. Thank you.